welcome everybody back to another episode of Inside the Man. I'm your host, David.
And I'm your host, Christopher.
I'm the host, but okay. Today we're gonna be speaking to you about purpose. And if you click this video expecting us to give you revelation about what exactly God wants you to do in your life and, you know, just answer that whole question about what is your purpose, we're going to do that very simply. So Matthew 28, we're just going straight into the video, aren't we? So Matthew 28:19 simply says, this is to give context, because you know we love a bit of context. You can't speak about the Bible without context. Jesus asked the disciples to meet him on a mountain in Galilee, and he says, therefore go and make disciples of all nations. That question, what is your purpose, God? What do you want me to do? God, what is the reason I'm on this earth? That is the answer. And you know when people say that, you know, not like every answer that you could ever ask, every question that you could ever ask, the answer is in the Bible. Purpose being one of those biggest questions, the answer is right there. That's the simple answer. That verse to kind of allay any fears about just, I guess, people confused about if, you know, God hiding their purpose, for example, or just thinking that, you know, just being confused in general. But we know that from 1 Corinthians 14:30, I believe it is, because the word of God says that he's not an author of confusion. So he's not looking to confuse you about your purpose. And like I said, that verse, I believe, gives the perfect description of what the end goal is.
So cool. We have the end goal, which is, you know, go out to bring more people to Christ, so that, you know, in total, God has more people for his kingdom. You know, the kingdom population is increasing. That's what your job is, to make that kingdom population increase. Cool. So now, what the question we need to be asking ourselves is not what our purpose is, but is the means to fulfill that purpose. So now, how do we understand what do you mean by means to fulfill this purpose? So it goes.
This is the part where everyone gets confused.
Yeah. So it's quite simply, you and your gifts will equal the purpose. Simple as that. God has established you. He's made plans for you. He says it in Jeremiah 29 verse 11. You know, he has a plan and purpose for you.
And to prosper you. Give you hope and a future. Yeah.
The whole shebang. Hope and a future. He has that for you. He's instated that for you. So that's you. Before you even came out your mother's womb, he knew it already. Now he's giving you gifts, and I think that's the thing people need to be more conscious of. God has given each and every single one a gift. We've said it in many videos before, and we're going to say it again. God has given each and every single one of us a gift. Some may have gotten more, some may have gotten less, but he's definitely giving you a gift. And it's now you using that gift to bring more people to Christ. And that's what I mean by means. Is you asking God to make you more aware of the gifts that he's given to you. So, for example, say I draw. I love to draw. A friend knows what I'm talking about. I love to draw.
Oh my God.
I love to draw. And you're thinking, cool, my purpose is to increase that kingdom population. That needs to go up, yeah? My gift is drawing. Now, if your gift is drawing, a gift needs to be refined. It needs to be worked out for it to grow. Correct? Cool. The same way people act, you know, they do act in school, or they do coaching, stuff like that. The same way I'm using the example of drawing. I practice my drawing, and who knows, I'm using this as a wild example, say Banksy or anyone else, even myself. I'm using that gift to bring more people to the kingdom. Of course, that's one example that could be used for any example. It could be an interest in an environment. If I'm put into positions where I'm able to talk about the environment, when people talk to me on a personal level, I'm able to bring them into Christ, because I'm now in that situation, because I've chased my passion, which I know God has put into me, or I know this gift God has put into me, and now I'm going to be able in these positions to talk about Christ, or to bring more people and increase that kingdom population. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I think I'm happy that you actually mentioned that, because the other day I was I think the reason we're recording this video is because obviously we was thinking about this for a while, but I was thinking like the whole kind of purpose, like what is your purpose? It's a daunting question in general, and I think if you're the kind of person that's like me, just generally because I feel like I have a lot of different interests, a lot of different things that I'm good at, but like, okay, good, like what are we gonna do with this? Like how is this gonna get me from point A to through the means and then to the end goal. And I think like one of the things that I personally and I think for our generation in general struggle with is like we want things one and done. Like we live in a very microwave generation.
So, yeah.
You know, you want to go from like say revelation to then you want the next day to be
that's it. I'm here.
One day you have a dream that I was standing in front of 10,000 people preaching a word or just speaking about my journey or whatever. And you want to wake up the next day and be able to speak to those 10,000 people. Like
that's not the case.
There was I was even reading in I think it was in somewhere in Samuel. I'll look for the verse, but it was basically about how when David was he was young, Samuel told him that he was going to be actually I'm quoting this very loosely, very loosely, but he basically prophesied that he was going to be a great man in Israel. David didn't become king till he was like 30, I think. I don't know if that was the exact age, but the time period from which Samuel told him about his destiny and him actually reaching that destiny was a very long time. And that's one of the things where when you speak about gifts and being able to like refine those gifts, that's something that we need to become comfortable with. And that's the whole thing about, I guess, with purpose, becoming comfortable with releasing everything from you onto God and being able to walk with him day by day. Because like I said with that example of speaking to 10,000 people, like that kind of stuff doesn't happen overnight. And the only person that can take you the only person that can take you to those heights is the person that's giving you that revelation to begin with. So if you've gotten that revelation, and even if you haven't gotten like a certain revelation, it's not a thing where like so many of my friends they've seen dreams, they've been prophesied to about this and that. That doesn't mean that me as someone who hasn't been prophesied to or hasn't been told that, you know, I'm gonna become
rubbish, trash, waste on the side.
Is there something we need to unpack here? Because that's not what I was gonna.
Okay, I was talking like coastal, you know, like they're not the main course, like you know how everyone.
No, okay,
yeah, the coastal,
exactly,
yeah.
Just people who feel like that, like we said at the start of the video, the end goal has been stated, but the period in which you get to that end goal, just because you haven't had pastor from wherever come and tell you that this is what you're going to do, that doesn't mean that God has less of a use for you, because everybody on this earth, God has planned out, or God has a specific purpose for everyone here. And I think we've said it in a couple of videos. And everyone's purpose is fine-tuned to exactly how they are, like to them. So it's not a thing where, you know, someone hasn't spoken to me about what I'm gonna do, so that means God doesn't have a plan for me. God has a plan for everyone. And yeah, it's a cliche. Well, not really a cliche. It's just one of those things that everyone says all the time, but that's the truth. Like he didn't die for this any one specific person. Like it was for everyone. So yeah.
When Paul was on the trip, was it to Damascus? And that's where Jesus, he encountered Jesus and his life changed. He spent 3 years studying the gospel. So Paul met Jesus at the end, where he had been risen. But all the disciples had met him before risen. So Paul had the end. He had to go back and learn the beginning. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's him refining the knowledge, or him refining the encounter he had with Christ. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So that he's able to now go out into places and preach. So if you can think, Paul, one of the greatest gospel writers, or one of the obviously all of them are great, but you know, Paul has wrote a lot of the books we read today. If you think that he spent 3 years before he linked up with the rest of the disciples, it goes to show how much Christ it reinforces this idea, or there's this idea of, you know, training, or you know, you have to be able to walk with God one day before you start running. You got to say, because say for example at the beginning you can't walk with God. When you get to those high places now, where your foundation is rocky, your foundation is rocky, and there's a scripture where it says that, you know, when your house is built on this solid rock, that even if like it's loosely again, like a storm was to come, your house
to go study properly.
But even if the like house or waves were to come, because your foundation is strong, it won't be swept away. But if your house is built, I think it's sand. If it's built on sand, then obviously it's going to be swept away by all these circumstances. So now you understand your purpose. We're going to increase the kingdom population. You understand you have gifts. Now, where do we fit in the word job? I think that's the question.
That's
another
big thing
to next go into. And now many people want to tie in the purpose and the job and the gifts into one. And of course that is very possible. Yeah. That is very, very possible. But in some cases, your job may not equate to the means in which you fulfill that purpose. I'll use an example. Say for example, you work in Tesco. You do a part-time retail, or you do part-time retail, you do work in Tesco, and you're thinking, why am I here? Like, God, I pray, I walk with you daily. I don't understand. You've told me that I'm supposed to increase kingdom population, but do it so I'm aware I'm a good speaker, X, Y, and Z. And you're not realizing that you've been in that position, or you've been in those retail stores, or you've been in Tesco, is so you can hone the skill of talking to new people, or expressing. So you're thinking, nah, but it's that idea of anywhere you see yourself placed, think of it as, God, what do I need to refine it? What are you asking me to refine in these periods or learn in this period?
The verse that comes to mind is the one that says, do everything as if you're
working for the Lord.
Working for the Lord. Like,
there's this great video of where the Nigerian guys were talking to the dog, and they said, you have to know your capacity to understand your integrity.
We need to take you for voice training. You need to know your capacity. If you don't know your capacity, you never know your integrity.
Who's your mate?
Shut up!
And that's what we're trying. You have to understand your capacity, to understand the integrity in which you walk in with every day. You get what I'm trying to say?
You are so useless. You are so useless.
Hey, Shakespeare got that, you know, so. Well, you get what I'm trying to say. You have to understand your capacity so you can walk with that integrity each day by day. Hey man,
speak.
But yeah, I think that is.
That's the perfect way to end this video.
You know what time it is? It's burst of the video, just to cap it off.
I see, you know what time it is.
This is from 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 9, and it says, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love him. And that's in the NLT translation. Sometimes we like to limit God, and what I mean by limit God is, say for example you find yourself in certain situations, you're like, okay God, take me out of here, or bring me up to the next step, or just let me find the next foothold. And we don't understand that God, he is the person who blows expectations out, blows it. You're thinking, I'm not qualified for this. God says, I qualify you. I qualify you. You don't have to qualify. I qualify you. And there's that mindset of, cool. Sometimes we don't understand the means. We know our gifts sort of, but we don't understand the means. We don't know how to refine it. And what I'm trying to tell you through the rest of the video is that you should not put a cap on any of the gifts that you have, or on any of the ways in which you feel may bring or increase that kingdom population. Because what God can use you for, I can't even tell you. No, I don't think any person, no man, it says no mind has even imagined it, because only God knows how much he can use you in those places where he needs to use you. And you need to understand that I am created to fill a purpose, or to do something to fulfill that purpose of increasing the kingdom. But obviously he's done it in a unique way, only through you, for you to do that, or to fulfill for you to get to the end through that means. In conclusion, you have a purpose. Stop asking the question, what is my purpose? Your purpose is there, it's written. Go out, make disciples of, make disciples of the nations. That's what he's told you. Go out, start casting your net. It's now you to understand. Maybe the prayer you need to be asking is, God, make me more aware of the gifts that you've instilled in me, that you've already given to me. But yeah, that's the prayer we need to be, saying more, I think, or being more mindful of. God, what is the gifts, or make me more aware of the gifts. And even if I am aware of the gifts, God, help me refine it so that I be able to, fulfill that purpose. Fulfill that purpose. So yeah, man, it's been your boys, be your hosts, been the guys inside the main. God damn.
I just knew you was gonna end it like that. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. More videos coming your way. We'll see you guys.